know I'm not what you need. Baby, why you trying? Come over and comfort me. Ain't no sense in lying, deserving honestly. We could just part ways, find out our own destiny. Baby, 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 you know I'm more than just a girl that you can meet walking down the street. I think you know that I'm the one that you want in your company.
Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel guys. If you're new here today, my name is Lena. Hi, nice to meet you. If you're prepared to be amazed, give this video a big thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notifications. Okay, sorry, I'm a little bit hyper. I just got back from my WIC appointment, longest day ever. I was in there for like 2 hours and the appointment only lasted like 10 minutes. Okay, what I really came to tell you guys was that if you do follow me on my Instagram, which I'm sure most of you do, you know that this video is going to be about why I quit Hooters. I don't want to talk down on Hooters as a company, but at my store, it was complete trash. So by the time I quit, there were like several different rule changes, and I was also in my first trimester of pregnancy, so it was the worst time of my life. The pregnancy was one reason why I quit. It was probably the biggest reason. Another reason was because I didn't want to work there and be pregnant. It's not my preference. I know some people who have done it, and like that's great for you if you make your money that way, fine, totally, I get it. But for me, I just don't want that title. I don't want my kids to be like, oh, mommy's going to work. Where does your mom work? Hooters? It's not for me. Next reason is because the managers were not getting it. I had to come forth and tell them that I was, because there were just certain things that I was not willing to do anymore. We had to pick up big things of ice and it was too heavy. And first of all, it was heavy before I became pregnant. So this is like no news. I struggled before I was pregnant, so why would I do it while I'm pregnant, you know? When I gave them my letter, they called me in there for a meeting, and the new GM, he told me that nothing really happens in the beginning of your pregnancy where you don't have to stop lifting heavy stuff. And I was like, do you not know that most miscarriages happen in the early stages of pregnancy? Like, who are you? Who are you? So they just weren't getting it. I remember one day, this one manager, he had been gone for a while training to become like a real manager or whatever, and he came back, and I was saying how tired I was, and a few of the girls knew at that point, so they knew what I was meaning and referring to. But he like jumped in our conversation and he was like, yeah, that's called depression. And I was like, no, it's called pregnancy. I was also just really over it, period. I was over not getting tipped. I was the one that didn't flirt with the customers. I had a boyfriend that I was super committed to. I didn't want to flirt with anyone for money, so if I had a table that was really cool and chill, I would talk to them, but like about real life stuff. Like I never talked about sex because I wasn't into that, but a lot of girls would, so I started to notice that they would get more tips and more money than me, which was kind of annoying. I would still talk to them if they wanted to talk about regular stuff, but I just didn't want to get into the sex. To me is really private. I don't talk about that to my own family, so why would I talk about that to a stranger or even a coworker? The management also changed. Like I said, there was a new GM. The GM that hired me was super cool about me not working on holidays, because I obviously have family in Laverne, Tennessee. I have no one in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's really frustrating when the GM changes, because then they expect you to work holidays and stuff, and I was like, I didn't sign up for this. The GM who hired me told me it was perfectly fine, and I told them before I got hired, you know, I'm not gonna work on game days. Only the away games I'll work, but not the home games. Whew, I'm out of breath. Because my boyfriend at the time played football, and I would go to every single game. And then there was like a couple games where I couldn't go to that I really, really wanted to go to. I cried at work because I wanted to go to them so bad. And it was really depressing to be at work when I told them, you know, I don't know where you're scheduling me. All of a sudden, I go to every single home game. Just really upsetted me that they didn't respect that. And I get that the GM changed, so that's a big difference. But altogether, you should really have respected my wishes. But they didn't. And then the management was super rude and distasteful. There was this one manager who made everything my throat. There was this one manager who made everything about sex. You could say anything and he would turn it into a dirty joke. And it just made me really uncomfortable. Like, number one, you're not attractive. Number two, I have a boyfriend. And number three, I'm pregnant. Stop. I don't want to hear that. Just think of the worst thing you could possibly say to someone as a dirty joke, and I swear that's like all he would do is talk dirty to us. They would be really rude. One of them would always call this girl ugly. They've called us B words. Jumping back to the pregnancy thing, my uniform started to be really uncomfortable because it was too tight. I still don't really look that big, but I could definitely feel a tightness, and it was annoying. I would like kind of complain and stuff to the other girls, and they'd be like, girl, you're not big enough to get a pregnancy uniform yet. And I'm looking at them in my brain, I'm like, heck yes I am, because I'm uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable, I should be able to wear the other uniform, but that's apparently not what happens there. It doesn't matter if you're uncomfortable. If you're not big enough, you can't wear it. Also, over the span of a couple of weeks, I would get a new uniform every day. The first thing I knew that my boobs were getting bigger was because I think my shirt was originally an extra small, and then I went to a small because the little side, like right there, ripped when I put my shirt on. It was so tight. And then I went up shorts to a small when I originally had an extra small. So I would have to like get a small in both uniforms, all three actually. So it was like I was almost asking for a new uniform every day. And one of the managers kind of got an attitude, and he already knew at this point that I was pregnant, and he was like, why do you keep on getting new uniforms? And I'm just sitting here like, do you guys not notice that I look like 5 pounds heavier? Which I wasn't. I've only gained 2 pounds so far, but it just felt that way, and I felt like they should have respected it more, but they didn't. And that was another thing that was like, who are you to tell me that I'm not comfortable in this uniform anymore? That's why I was just like, you know what? That was the last straw. That was like the cherry on top, that they kept on making like little comments like that. And I was just like, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm done. And I didn't give them a 2 weeks. I didn't feel like they deserved that. I was just like, bye. I mean, I worked my shift, and then the next week's schedule was already made, so I put my shifts up for grabs, and I quit. I couldn't do it anymore. They literally ran me out of all of my energy. So that is officially why I quit Hooters. Whew, I hope to be back with another video pretty soon. I want to tell you guys about my horrible UT Medical Center experience, and I was going to make a video about why me and my ex broke up, but it's really deep, and it's a lot deeper than what I originally thought. So I'm not going to do that video. Just know that we're not together right now. Who knows about the future, but together we just have decided to be just parents. And I actually am happy about that right now, because it's a lot of stress, you know, being in 2 different places. He's 3 hours away, but I'm happy, and that's what really matters. So I hope that you guys are happy too, and I hope you guys have a fantabulous day. Peace.
Too much for